see it.
Welcome to Jubilife City Radio, the station that'll keep the citizens of Sinnoh up to date with all things happening across the region. Now, stay tuned for the most popular talk show in Sinnoh. Welcome to Jubilife City Radio. My name is Freakin Chocolate, and I'm joined by my co-host here, Coco4dayz. How you doing, Coco?
Good. How you going, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad. People don't know who we are unless they've followed us from somewhere else, but let the people know. Who are we?
I'll let you go first.
My name is... We're going by Freakin Chocolate here. You can find me everywhere, but I... I'm a podcaster, I'm a streamer, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a content creator in general. I do a lot of fun things on the gram, and I'm a 9-to-5 worker right now, but we'll see how that goes throughout the year.
I like it.
What about yourself, man?
So I am Coco4dayz, aka Coco, aka Joe. I am a variety streamer and competitive Pokemon player over on Twitch. I do a little bit of YouTube lives as well, and like my lovely co-host Freakin Chocolate, I am also a 9-to-5 worker, but we'll see how this year goes. We'll see how we go.
Heck yeah. This is another realm of content creation that, who knows, could take us in a very different path.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. I've wanted to create a Pokemon podcast for a long time. I've got a couple other podcasts on the side as well, but nothing that, like, I've just wanted to focus on purely Pokemon. Like, I've spoken about Pokemon in other ones, but like, I want this to be just like passion.
Oh yeah, I'm Pokemon. All for that. I'm all for that. I've myself wanted to do podcasts, but never really had a solid topic to talk about. And then when you approached me about Pokemon, I'm like, hey, I can talk about Pokemon. I can do that.
4 hours.
4 hours, literally 4 hours, to the point where my fiance goes, can you just stop?
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been here for, like, I've been following you on Twitch for about 1.5 years now. I think 1.5 years. It's definitely been a year.
Jeez,
but
that's gone quick.
It's been such an interesting 2022 into 2023, just in content wise in general, because everything is like, the further in we get, the further, like, the more availability there is to do many different things.
Oh, 100%. Especially with how Scarlet and Violet is progressing with not only VGC, or the Pokemon Company in general, I should say, are progressing with Scarlet and Violet in terms of TCG, VCG, and just everything that they got in the works, whether it be known or unknown to the public, is huge. It's going to be a big year.
Massive. Like, Pokemon is the biggest IP, intellectual property media company, I think it is, in the world. It beats out,
I think the
highest grossing
biggest,
anyway.
Yeah, and 5th biggest game IP as well, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely wild. And it's like, obviously purely Nintendo based. It doesn't spread out into other consoles.
That's crazy.
They know what they're doing. But anyway, for those who are tuning in and have never heard of us or have never heard why we're doing this, what was the reason? Like, obviously we wanted to start a podcast, but like, why was it that we wanted to start a podcast? Like, what was it that, I guess, resonated with the idea?
So for myself, being a competitive Pokemon player, I feel as though there's a niche market for, well, I shouldn't say niche market, but a niche group of listeners that want to hear, what's happening in the VGC scene while at the gym working out, or, while they're on the train. They want to jump on Pokemon Showdown, test the team, but they want to hear two or three people chatting about it so they can go, that's actually a good idea for my team, or try and show the world what Australian content creation is like for Pokemon, because our meta, our players are all slept on, and if we can give an opportunity for people to shine, I'm all for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was one of the biggest reasons I wanted to do it as well, because it hasn't been tapped into. Like the podcast arena for Pokemon hasn't really been tapped into. There's a couple of big ones like the Pokemon Cast, I think Pokemon Cast, PKM
Yeah,
Cast, whatever it's
I've
called.
listened to that a couple of times. Not bad.
But nothing that really focuses on like the VGC side of things, or even the TCG side of things. It's just mainly general news and information, which we will be giving you as well, but we're going to be kind of niching down quite a bit into the VGC sort of things, and really showing what Australian VGC players can do, because as you said, they are slept on. You don't really hear about people at Worlds being Australian. Yes, we have them there, but they're not like known people.
Yeah, or look at Kiki Karaz last year.
Yeah.
For the juniors, no one had heard of her prior to that Worlds appearance, and to come second in the world. And I was talking to infamous Chris, who is her soon-to-be stepdad, and he said her following went from like 300 people to 1,100 people on Twitter overnight alone.
Yeah.
It was just, for her, it was insane.
Yeah.
Good, but no one had heard of her prior to that sort of thing, unless you're in the Australian VGC scene.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was obviously one of the big reasons why we wanted to get this podcast going, because, Untapped, there's so much potential out there for people to discuss VGC and have their voices heard. We have a bit of a platform that we can get people's names out there if it's not already out there, and really...
100%.
Really make Australia worth it.
And it'll be easier to get some VGC players onto the podcast as well if we want to, or obviously we will want to feature other people with us.
Yep.
I myself am a moderator for OzVGC Discord server. So I've put the feelers out there to get a couple of people on in future, and they're like, hell yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
It's there is interest there for further topics to be discussed with other players.
For sure. So things that we'll be covering on the podcast, we've already talked about a little bit, but VGC will be a big one. We will give some of the news, just the general news that is happening around in the Pokemon world, being whether it be TCG, Pokemon Go, Pokemon VGC with the video games, even a bit of anime news, probably not a lot, but just kind of explaining what's out there at the moment. Pokemon has got many revenues that they can go down. One thing that we never got from them, though, was Pokemon Sleep, which I'm always quite upset about.
No, I want the toothbrush one.
Pokemon Smile, that did come out.
Did it?
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. I don't know if it was a worldwide thing, though. I know there was people in America who were teaching their kids how to brush their teeth with Pokemon.
Man, I would have used that for my 4-year-old. Well, soon to be 4-year-old.
Would have been, yeah. Like I'd probably use it for myself, to be honest. Like if I brush my teeth and I can get this unknown, you better believe it.
Yeah. Only if it's unknown exclamation point, because let's be real, that is the most uncommon one to have.
It is. And I don't know, are they shiny locked in any games?
I'll be honest, I had an action replay code device, and I used to make every Pokemon shiny. So that's before. Look, I didn't come to the VGC scene till Sword and Shield, so for me it didn't matter. I was just like, hell yeah, shiny.
Yeah. No, I didn't have the means of doing it, but I had friends who had the means of doing it, and I definitely took advantage of the opportunity when I could get myself any Pokemon shiny. I think I had like a box of shiny Mewtwo's at one point.
Oh, that's sick.
I think this was on Pokemon Sapphire. I'm going to say it was Sapphire. Yeah, very long ago. Very long ago.
I love those games.
Games.
And having 999 rare candies was also very handy when you
Yeah.
got stuck in a pickle.
Yeah, and because back then we don't obviously we weren't playing Pokemon for the super competitive side or anything. There was no like competitions locally anyway, where you can go and battle. So like you didn't know about EV training or anything like that because,
No,
funnily enough, EV training has always existed.
has it?
I believe since Generation 2.
Yeah, right. See, I didn't even know that. I thought it was like a Gen 4 onwards thing, but
Oh, you know what? Maybe no. Oh, now I'm confused. Maybe I'm thinking of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Gen 4.
maybe.
But I know shiny Pokemon have been around since the beginning.
Gen 2, I got a shiny Elekid from the egg that you get from the daycare people. I didn't know what
Hey.
it was. All I remember was seeing these stars next to the Elekid's name, and every time I threw it out of the ball, it would glitter and shine on the screen. I'm like, why don't my other Pokemon do that?
Yep,
And then it
yep.
wasn't until Gen 3 when I learned of shiny Pokemon, I'm like, I had a shiny Elekid.
Yeah. You haven't got that game anymore?
It's somewhere. I don't know if I still have the save though.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a
Oh, well.
sad thing.
Sad days. So should we get into a bit of news about what's been happening in the Pokemon world at the moment?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Especially the biggest one at the moment being the Greninja, making an appearance in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet as a 7-star raid boss.
Wait, you don't already have the Greninja?
I do not. I do not. I have seen a bunch of eggs getting around that people are sharing on the Froakies, but
Oh, okay.
I have not. No,
Ah,
but I have seen that you have one.
I know people that know people that know people.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, one of my mods was like, "Hey, you want a Greninja?" I'm like, "Sure." I don't know when it's coming to the game.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
And then I shared it to a couple of people,
yeah. Very good.
as you do.
As you do. So what are we going to be doing with Greninja? I've done a bit of research, but I'm sure you've got a lot more of an idea than I do. Let's go ahead and
Yeah.
bring up some showdown and talk about how or what we need to do to defeat this dastardly thing.
So, in order to get the full rundown on it, I'll bring up the information on the raid.
Yep.
Where is it? Here. So, as we know, the Greninja will be a poison type
Mm-hmm.
Greninja. So, the move pool on Greninja is ridiculous. It can hit you with water types, it can hit you with dark types, and if you know your typings and matchups, you'll know that a ground type is not good going against a water type, but it's super effective going against poison. And same for psychic, it is great against poison, but susceptible to big hits from dark types.
Yes.
So this then creates a dilemma for everyone because you sit there going, I don't want to be hit by a water type move if I'm using ground, but I don't want to be hit by a dark type move while using psychic. So, let's have a ninja's move pool here so we can get a rough idea. So, for people that have used Greninja in the past, a common set would be look at the Dark Pulse, you would look at the Water Shuriken, having that access to which unfortunately got a nerf this generation. You'd probably look at using U-turn or something like that. So the rumor going around is it will feature the Water Shuriken or a water-based attack. It will have the Dark type, presumably Dark Pulse attack.
Yep.
Another thing is they're probably going to look at having a move to clear any stat raises, as we've seen with Charizard and Cinderace. And we'll probably just look at something to cover off some form of niche typing that someone will work out to bring and Game Freak go, haha, let's make it as hard as possible.
Yep.
So, I have done a little bit of research myself as well. There is one Pokemon that really stands out for me this generation, and believe it or not, that is Clodsire.
Mm-hmm.
It is a poison ground type, ideal for Greninja. Covers off the poison typing with the ground type.
Yeah.
The thing that makes this so useful, though, is it's a ground type with water absorb. So you gain HP back by a quarter for every water type you get hit with. And then Dark Pulse and everything like that doesn't really hit you as hard. The thing Greninja does have access to, it's got Trailblazers generation. It's also got Grass Knot. So that's potentially one minor issue we'll have to look at. But until we know its full stats and everything, I guess or full move pool, it's kind of hard to say yes to Grass Knot or Trailblaze or not. Yep. So at this point in time, Clodsire will be the way to go. What I would look at running on it is probably Leftovers, so you can stay in the battle a little bit longer. In terms of moves, now, if you look at its stats, it's got good HP, it's got good special defense. Its attack isn't too bad, defense isn't too bad, special attack is terrible, and speed is terrible as well. So you know, the four of you in the raid will be moving last, and probably 2 or 3 turns later, knowing how the raids are operating right now.
Yes. So
one thing I would look at is building your Clodsire around being a physical attacker. So Earthquake. What else would we look at here? We've got Earthquake. We'll probably go... I think you could go Mud Slap to lower accuracy if you really wanted.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I have seen some people talking about the Zen Headbutt on it. Just because obviously it's super effective into the poison type. Plus being able to get those flinches can come in clutch. I'm pretty sure you can flinch the Terra bosses.
I haven't seen it happen, but never say never, as Justin Bieber would say.
Yep.
And I'd also look at possibly running Curse as well. So you set up with Curse. Yes, it reduces your speed, but you get a +1 to attack and defense. So you're tanking anything that comes at you, plus increasing your attack.
Yeah, so, I think Curse is probably a must-have on this set. Purely to be able to hit harder with the Earthquakes, because let's face it, Clodsire's attack isn't great.
No. But if you put it 252 in EVs and make sure, this is saying Brave. Look, you're not using any special attack. Sorry, I muted myself.
Oh, good.
There we go. So you can go minus special attack and put 4 into the speed if you really want, or you can go 4 into defense. So you could look at running an adamant nature or... it's still adamant, don't worry. So yeah, you can look at running an adamant nature Clodsire with either 4 defense or 4 speed, but you really want to capitalize on having that high attack and probably high HP to ensure that you last as long as possible during the raid encounter.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
terms of Terra typing, you could go ground to get that extra stab boost on the E-Quake and Mud Slap, or you could go Psychic for the Zen Headbutt. But bear in mind, if you go Psychic, you're going to be susceptible to a potential Dark Pulse coming from the Greninja, which isn't ideal. So personally, I would be running Ground Terra, or my niche Terra on my builds is either Grass or Steel. Because I can't imagine Greninja going, I'm going to hit you with an Earthquake.
I think he gets Brick Break, does he?
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
I get Dig. Dig. And Mud Shot. And Mud Slap.
Yeah. He's got a few fighting moves as well, which could be a bit rough.
Low Sweet.
I can see Game Freak giving it Trailblaze, purely knowing that there's going to be Quagsires and Clodsires coming to the battle.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's going to be an interesting raid. Oh, it's French name. What? Finobi.
Amphinobi.
That sounds almost Naruto-esque.
Well, the Japanese one, Gikoga.
That sounds like a Naruto anime. And then the German one makes it sound like it's its own jutsu in Naruto. Quajutsu!
Quajutsu.
And then Korean, I'm sorry, but I don't speak Korean. So, it's only 4'11" in height and weighs 40 kilos. There you go.
Speaking of Greninja, did you watch the anime at all? Like throughout the XYZ era?
I gave up on the anime after Gen 2.
After Gen 2, okay.
Yeah.
If anyone out there is wanting to watch the anime, X, Y, and Z, like not just XY, but like XYZ, is phenomenal. Some of those battles that Ash Greninja goes through, like I think it's in the championship. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is in the championship, like in the Pokemon League, sorry, where the Greninja is going up against someone's Sceptile.
Yeah.
Was it Sceptile? I think it was Sceptile. And the battle is just absolutely bonkers to watch. Like full anime ninja fight scenes.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, that XY era with the Megas. I think Mega Charizard X versus Greninja as well. Like at the end is just insane.
Bonkers.
Insane battles.
I have to give it a watch.
Yeah.
Just back on the topic of other Pokemon, I have heard rumors and speculation that Azumarill could be okay for this one, running a similar build to what they were for Charizard, in terms of the belly drum waterfall strat.
Yeah.
However, I can't see that being too effective into a poison type. So whether that comes to fruition or not is yet to be confirmed. In terms of Azumarill's, I guess, psychic or ground cover, you've only got Mudshot and Mudslap for the ground type, and they're special attacks.
Yeah,
which
I'm not a fan of Azu coming into this one.
No, neither am I. Like I said, it's just rumors and speculation I've seen through a couple of Facebook groups.
Yeah, I mean, the chilling water could come in handy, I guess, but other than that, I can't see it being a big contender.
No, not at all.
I want to ask, when you obviously the Charizard raids, we figured it out pretty easily that it was Azus that were pretty much soloing it, hitting hard, or even Fluttermanes, I think, were hitting hard as well.
Yeah, Fluttermane and Azumarill were the two big ones,
especially with the covert cloak as well. So you couldn't have your, you couldn't be confused by the hurricanes from the Charizard. Yeah. And then people coming into the Cinderace were like Azu again because it is amazing like that, but they gave the Cinderace Iron Head and completely shut down those Azus. It was kind of funny to see because people got to the point where they could destroy these Charizards quick and easy. The Cinderace, I don't know. Did you have troubles beating it?
I'll be honest. I didn't do one Cinderace raid.
Okay.
When both of them popped up, I actually had stuff on. I think the first one was leading into Christmas. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no.
And I think the weekend it fell on, I was actually at a staff party for work.
I think it was the 15th of December.
Yeah, so I had a staff party that weekend.
Yeah.
So I was unable to do the first one. And then by the time the second one dropped, I'm like, someone already gave me a score bunny. What's the point? And, you get the mighty mark. Cool.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's not like you can use it in VGC and show off a cool mark. Like, it's just like, okay, this is just for clout sort of thing now.
I think the major benefit was the items that it dropped between like Charizard as well as the Cinderace. When you beat them, they obviously gave you good items and lots of them. So I guess farming them was a bit better, but the Charizard was easy to farm. Cinderace, I struggled with, man. I think a lot of people struggled with them. I'd go in there and people would be bringing the Azus, and I'm there out there running a the proper Slowbro build that they had.
Yep.
And I wasn't getting killed at all. I was successfully living the whole time, hitting hard, but people would just be bringing these Azus and just getting bodied. It's like it was rough because I wanted to start farming them and get the items, but couldn't do it.
Well, that's one thing I did see in a lot of Facebook groups as well, and people getting toxic was, you know, I want to do these raids, but everyone's just bringing a Azumarill, and
yeah,
you know, there was a fair few choice words people were adding to that.
Yeah.
I can understand out of frustration, yeah, but I'm a big believer in you don't go off at a community if you can't communicate properly.
Oh, for sure.
But
for sure.
If I was doing a stream and just solely focusing on raids, I've always invited people to join a VC, whether they just listen or you know, want to join in on the convo. Then that way we can all sort of communicate properly. There was one time off stream I did do a couple of raids and there was no communication at all. And there was one chat channel that blew up because we were doing a Raichu and someone bought a Gyarados to a Raichu raid when it was a flying terror Raichu.
Yeah.
It's like it's still going to hit you with Thunderbolt. That's still 4 times effective.
Yeah, definitely.
I understand that the terror raids throw people off with the alt typing, but you got to remember as well what their base typing is and the moveset that they're going to have access to.
Yeah, no, definitely. I actually found it a lot easier. I don't know if you're aware of when you're raiding. When you're raiding with people and they die, obviously time gets taken off the timer. But
yes.
When you're soloing it, when your NPC people die, it doesn't do anything at all.
I did notice that. Yeah. It's good.
So it was a lot easier to solo the Cinderace than it was to do it with other people.
Well, that was a few of the comments on Facebook was, well, instead of complaining, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, do it solo. Then that way it eliminates the toxicity out of the community. It removes people getting aggravated and frustrated and then getting even more frustrated that people can't see their side of the coin. And it just makes everyone happier in the long run. Sure. Word to the wise, if you struggle to do it with a group of people because you can't communicate properly, look at just doing it yourself and don't get toxic about it.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
I will also have a pokey paste of the build. I'll post it to socials.
Yep.
And I'm sure there'll be a way to have it in the bio as well of the channel. So
it will be. It'll be on the show notes for those wanting to quickly access it and find out exactly what sort of clods I build. We are recommending.
Sweet.
Wicked. All right. Some more Pokemon news. I don't know how heavily people are into the TCG that I'll be listing. I myself am quite invested in it.
I wouldn't say I'm invested, like heavily invested. I'm more of a collector.
Oh yeah, as am I.
I've got my lovely graded cards in the backdrop of my 10s from the celebrations and Mimikyus and stuff, but Crown Zenith, which just dropped yesterday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
The pull rates.
Absolutely wow. The alt arts,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
That makes me want to make sure I don't have any money to see me through till the next paycheck next month.
Yeah, legit.
It's like I got excited for the Charizard box because of the promo cards. But this,
Mm-hmm.
wow. The
Yeah.
Palkia, the Dialga, the Giratina, the Arceus to tie it all together.
The way that all fits together into one big image is just...
Yes.
Man, the Pokemon Company nailed it with this set.
I look, I wasn't going to buy any Crown Zenith cards, but tomorrow I might just go out and buy a couple.
Yeah.
I can't see myself diving too far into the Scarlet and Violet sets. Like they've shown some nice alt arts for that, but I was never a fan of EX cards, just their designs and everything, which is why I never really collected cards until Sword and Shield.
Gotcha.
Not because I was trying to jump on the whole COVID craze. It was EX.
The Logan Paul craze.
The Logan Paul craze. Those Paul brothers. Jake Paul still needs to respond to my tweet from 2019 saying I'll take him on.
Nice. Well, I'll definitely make sure to tag him for this.
I'm still waiting for it. Although that's when he was like 1-2, or 1-0, or 2-0 or something. So it might have been 2020. Either way, respond to my tweet. No, so the EX cards, or even when they're doing like the group cards, they just, I don't know, they
didn't capture your heart.
Didn't capture my heart. Whereas they rolled out Sword and Shield, and then they started doing like the full arts and the G Maxes and the V Maxes and everything. I'm like, you know what? These cards are dope. And then they dropped the G Max Charizard, and as we all know, that was the hottest hit card going around.
Yeah.
And sold for thousands of dollars. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start, like, not because I wanted to make money off the cards, but the designs were great.
Yeah, they stepped up their game for the artwork that was on the cards.
100%. And to sum off what was a great year, or great few years for Sword and Shield cards, they've then just dropped Crown Zenith on us, which is just, yeah.
Yeah, this set, Crown Zenith, is like, because it's not a subset, it's a subset, and you can't buy booster boxes of them. You can only buy them in boxes of like Elite Trainer boxes, or these collection boxes, for instance, that I have a couple of that I plan on opening tomorrow. I've got a few Elite Trainer boxes on the way here. And people are selling a booster box amount of card, like worth of boxes, booster packs, which they're taken out of things, selling them as like a pack of 36, which is also what I have on this way. I have a feeling that this set is going to be my most invested set of the entire Sword and Shield era.
Not just, back to the hits. They've also got those trainer cards that have, signed by the trainers per se.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the Raihan card, it's got his signature from the trainer card, and then you look at the alt arts, or not alt arts, but the full art cards. They got the Pikachu, and going down to the Galarian gallery, like the Hisuian Voltorb. I like what they've done with the Electivire and the Magmortar, how they've utilized them in two different scenarios.
Yeah.
You look at the Deoxys. You've got the fusion. It incorporates all the strikes on the card art there. The Diancie.
That Toxtricity art is gorgeous.
Yes. You got the Obstagoon, you got the Rillaboom in the back. They're all just jamming away, having fun.
That is beautiful. I love that card work. Oh, that is...
I feel as though the Diancie captured my heart a bit more, which is why I skipped it. Like, I remember X and Y days I had at Diancie. I can't remember if it was legit or not, but I jumped into a streamer and cosplayer, Living Ichigo. And I'm like, he was doing viewer battles. I'm like, okay, if you beat me, I'll give you a shiny Diancie. And he beat me, and I gave him a shiny Diancie. And still to this day, he remembers me as that guy that gave him the Diancie.
That's sick.
So, claim to fame. Sorry, back to the card arts. This Entei V, Suicune V, Raikou V, like, they're just gorgeous.
They really are. How many cards are in this set?
I don't know, but that Deoxys VMAX there, and that Mewtwo V-Star. Fun fact, if anyone got the Charizard Collector's Box, this is the Mewtwo's side of view
of that
from
battle.
that battle, which is baller. And then we got the Arceus V. I'll look at the card amount in a sec. I just want to touch base on how beautiful these cards are.
Yeah.
The Arceus V-Star, the Giratina V-Star, the Dialga, and the Palkia. Like,
yeah. And like when you put them all together, you got the Arceus up the top, you got the boys on the left and the right, and then underneath it with the Giratina, the whole it works so well.
Oh, the Galarian Moltres promo card though. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
That Lucario promo code down the bottom, that comes in every Elite Trainer box.
Oh, right.
Yep, that's one that you get given straight away.
That's sick.
They're all just absolutely...
Oh, the Hisuian Zoroark? Oh.
Gorgeous.
Wait,
absolutely gorgeous.
Reggie Gigas is literally moving a continent here.
He is the continental Pokemon.
This is true, but wow.
That's hectic.
So as to how many cards are in the set, sure, check out set list. 159 cards before secret rares.
Goodness.
So if you're
total,
yeah.
Oh no, hold on. So that's almost like 200 and something cards.
So it's 159 base cards, 17 V, 8 V Star, 5 V Max, and then 20 or so trainer cards.
Oh my goodness.
So you're looking at 13, you're looking at about almost 200 cards. About 190 cards.
Golly gosh. Yeah,
so,
as I said, it's going to be my most invested set this era. I can't wait.
You can get the tins, the triple blisters. You've also got the shiny Zacian and Zamazenta cards. The Morpeko 4-1. Yeah, look, I'm probably going to have... they come out May the 5th.
Yeah, the only things that are out currently are the collection boxes, the Reggie Drago and Reggie Eliki, and the Elite Trainer boxes.
And the ETB.
Yeah, the tins come out next month. I've heard that because the pull rate on the ETBs is phenomenal. People are pulling, like, getting hits in basically every pack.
Yeah, right.
There was a friend of mine who pulled 2 of the secret rare Pikachu full art card in one box, and absolutely insane. But people are saying that all the luck has gone into the ETBs, and the actual small tins, the mini tins, aren't going to be stacked with the good stuff. But I mean, I don't know how they sort things over at the Pokemon Center. I don't know how they work at all, but yeah, it's going to be a good set regardless. The new set coming out in March, the Scarlet and Violet set, they're changing up a lot. We'll probably get into that in another episode, but they've changed up the TCG a lot in the way that you get the cards. Like every rare card is now a holo as well. They don't have rare non-holos, and you get 3 rares per pack.
Yep.
So the pull rate will be increased phenomenally, but they've also increased the price of the cards. So,
Yeah, I just looked $100 for an ETB, and I have put in an inquiry to receive a box.
Very
Wasn't
good.
planning on it, but I'll get one ETB at least. I'll have to open that on screen when I get it.
What I'll do after the podcast. Actually, you know what? I'm going to plug them right now. There's a card company that I deal with at the moment that they are doing real good prices. Real good prices. So it's called Your Turn Collectibles. It's a friend of mine who lives in Queensland, so they will be able to ship pretty much anywhere, but you'll get it in Queensland very quick. ETBs currently sitting at, I believe, $80.
Is this the one here?
This is the one here.
Beautiful. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah?
Hells yeah. Just go to the Pokemon at the top there. I'll go shop.
Shop.
And then Pokemon.
Yo, they got the Digimon sets. Oh.
Yeah, so
there's the 36 pack there you're talking about.
Yeah, the top left, ETB for $80. And then depending on if you talk to
Do we say that you sent us?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know what? Before people do buy it, though, obviously this episode is not going to come out until Thursday next week, which is the 20-something, the 26th Australia Day. So I will clear it by then, but I might have a look in the description of like the show notes of this podcast, and there might be a cheeky code there that you can use to make things a little cheaper for you.
Hey.
But 10 out of 10 would recommend. Great company, great service, very quick. It's just one dude doing his thing. So if we inundate him with orders, I'm sure he will love that.
Might have to give us a sneaky little sponsorship.
Very possible.
If we can get him on board.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Any more Pokemon news we want to cover off before we get the heck out of here?
I wouldn't mind quickly touching back to VGC and discussing the Series 2
for sure.
Rules, because I know that there's some players out there that are not confused, but they're trying to find their feet and talk about, I guess, how some paradox Pokemon can be utilized. I know that there's some great YouTubers out there, Clover Bell, you've got Wolfie, you've got all those top tier guys obviously covering off VGC Series 2 and battles and everything, and you know what to use and what not to use. I guess for me personally, I just want to touch base. I've got a minor theory with Gen 9.
Yep.
So my theory is we all know the meta. Your standard 24 Pokemon that everyone likes to use on every single team. Well, obviously you can't use all 24, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
the 24 big hitters.
24 big hitters, and you obviously select 6. Now, from that, with the introduction of terrestrializing, it has now added another, as I like to say, another meta to the game. So not only do you have to worry about, they're going to bring a Garchomp, you got to worry, is it going to be the traditional ground terror so it gets extra stab on Equake and they're just going to spam Equake in doubles, or is it going to be fairy type so it has a bit more defensive coverage, or you really got to start thinking about terrestrializing as not just a new feature but as a meta in its own as well.
Yeah.
And I could just be talking absolute garbage here, or I could be onto something. I honestly don't know.
I mean, you said it's a theory, so it's if you're saying it, then it's your theory.
So one thing I've noticed is on Showdown, which is where I test a lot of my teams. My current Series 2 team is doing phenomenally well, which I'm shocked because one thing I've utilized is that Terra meta. So using the standard, I guess, 6 Pokemon that you would want to expect or see.
Yeah.
So do I have a copy on Showdown. I've got the first build of it. Give me 1 second, sorry. I thought I had one on here already. We can post this team in the show notes as well as an example of where I'm going with this. So if we take a look here, right? So I'm running your standard Fluttermane, Suskus, Iron Hands, King Gambit, Iron Moth, and Pelipper, which have all seen play, whether it's been San Diego. Yes, I said it right tonight. San Diego. Oh, you would have been there for my stream the other night. I couldn't say it.
I was there.
That was very embarrassing. So at San Diego.
He's lost it. He's lost it.
I've lost it. Back at SD, the other weekend, we saw obviously the rise of Tauros. But one thing that has been creeping up is the Pelipper. And people have been utilizing Pelipper as a defensive build. And I thought, well, let's take that defensive build one step further. So I've made it a ground terror to, I guess, compensate for your
electric weakness,
to compensate for this, the gold ingos getting around that, you can wide guard and then just start absolutely destroying as well if push comes to shove once you set up a tailwind.
Yeah.
So, just taking something that, yes, in essence, it may not be the best thing, but in a best of 3 scenario, you're not always going to terror the Pelipper. But if you're up against an Iron Hand to know that it's going to Thunder Punch you, you're better off taking the risk with it. Whereas some people are going Flying Terror or Water Terror or, sticking to something normal for it.
Yeah.
The other one that's seeing a lot of play is Iron Moth, Iron Hand, Fluttermane, and Amoonguss, and King Gambit as well. People are doing Dark Terror King Gambit. I've gone Water. I know Joe UX9 also did a Terror Water build as well.
Yep.
Which is where I got my inspiration from. But I've tweaked my EVs and everything to be different to his. And I'm running Assault Vest as well. So you get that Kowtow Cleave. You get a Water Terror into, Arcanine, any of your major weaknesses, or just to catch the Arcanine off guard. Amoonguss is one of my favorite to Terror. It sounds stupid, but having that Dark Terror in front of an Indeedee or an Armarouge or just something that has Psychic and will completely ruin your day, and just being able to withstand or actually completely blow off a Psychic attack is amazing.
Yeah.
Fluttermane, we all know, with it being a fairy type, its biggest weakness is Steel. With Goldingo getting around, I don't know why, but people are still fairy terroring a Fluttermane. When not only Goldingo, but you got King Gambit with Ironhead getting around, and it hits hard. And Sucker Punch. Like, obviously, Fairy will neutralize that Sucker Punch, but if you're leading Fluttermane and Arcanine and it's a Defiant King Gambit, you're laughing.
Yeah.
Like, you guaranteed an Oko, especially if you're running Iron Moth or just something with a spread move behind it or next to it. So that's why I've gone the Steel, to completely eliminate that Steel weakness. Again, going against the Terra meta per se and having something a little bit different. And Iron Moth, I'm not 100% sure what people are running because I don't see too many people terroring the Iron Moth. But having that Terra Grass type and access to Energy Ball, GG's to a Dondozo there. Like,
yeah.
And not only that, if you have the Tailwind set up and you come in next turn and there's the Iron Bundle, that's going to get one shot. You've got the Sludge Wave there, which covers your Fluttermane, which covers any sort of Fairy, the Iron Valiant, all those mons. You've got, obviously, it's spec, so you obviously got to choose your move wisely. But Heat Wave, Dazzling Gleam, it just ticks every single box for what is the meta, which some people have seen up and coming is that Iron Moth, but it's still not utilized enough for what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. The whole idea of, like, as you said, the second meta being the Terra typing, like, you can throw, as you said, a defensive typing for, say, the Dark type on the Amoonguss and completely make it, like, 10 times better without having those weaknesses. There's just the way that you can put a different Terra type on any Pokemon. It literally makes almost every Pokemon a viable option.
100%. There is such thing as a non-viable Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but you can literally look at Tauros taking out SD.
Yeah.
Never in a million years would you think a Tauros would be the winning team at a massive regional.
Yeah. It's like, it's literally, it's changed the game so much. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it all. Like, I haven't done too many ranked battles on ladder or anything, but it, like, just because there's so many options. Many options.
Well, this is where my theory of the second meta comes into play with the Terra type. You have a 1 in 16 chance of your opponent running a Terra that is common for that Pokemon. And then you come up against a stooge like myself that's running a Steel Fluttermane or a Grass Iron Moth. Like, you know, that's going to catch you off guard because you're going to be like, oh, they're going to Terra into a Fairy type. I'm going to hit it with an Iron Head. And then it's like, oh, that's a Steel Terra. Yeah. I can't do anything to it. Or I'm going to Sucker Punch and Guaranteed Oko. Oh, that's 20% left health.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
You could play a long game and trick a Choice Scarf onto something and, like, have it psychic surging your... Not psychic surging, what's the word? Psychic
Expanded
explosion?
Force?
Expanded Force, that's the one. Expanded Forcing your Amoonguss. You could, like, just completely stop it and... Yeah, you can shut down games with the different Terra types.
And not only that, everyone's favorite Storm one now is Garganical.
Yeah.
The Salt Bond. So not only, obviously, we all know it has access to Salt Cure, and that was the bane of everyone's existence when it first came out. But people, and I had an encounter with Lukey VGC last night. He wanted to test his Series 2 team.
Yeah.
And a Ghost Terra Garganical. He knocked out my King Gambit. And, like, Lukey, he is a bloody good player. Like, he's always... When you think, yeah, I'm ahead, he's, like, 3 steps ahead. He's like, I purposely wanted that Pokemon to get sacked so then I can bring in X, Y, Z to then start chipping away at your Pokemon. So then when that goes, I can then send out Garganical in this sense. And he then knew that King Gambit was gone. Iron Hands couldn't touch it unless it was Thunder Punching, and I'm pretty sure it had a couple of Iron Defenses up on it. I was Salt Cured. I kept trying to Drain Punch, but obviously being Ghost type, that wasn't going to work. So all I had left was Thunder Punch. I lost to a Salt Cured Ghost Garganical that set. And that's one thing that's coming up is Poison, because that's another reason for the Ground Terra Pelipper is for Poison Garganical. Because obviously it's a very bulky defensive mon, but its special defense isn't ideal either. So, you know, that sort of covers that mon. But yeah, just Garganical, Poison Terra, or Ghost Terra is slowly creeping up in the meta as more and more common, opposed to, say, Grass or Fairy or Steel. But then you still have someone that will Terra into a Fire type and still ruin your day.
Ruin your day, yeah, for sure. It's I really, really love the whole mechanism of Terra typing. Like, it's brought more more people into VGC. People are coming out of the woodwork. There's YouTubers that I used to watch who drifted away from competitive Pokemon, and like everyone just seems to be into competitive Pokemon at the moment.
Well, SD, I'm just going to call it SD now because I'm not even going to try and say San Diego. I did it!
Hey,
there we go.
Just put on the accent while doing it. San Diego.
San Diego. See, that's the issue. It's Ron Burgundy.
Mm.
That's why I say it wrong, because you listen to him go San Diego. And it's like, okay. Goddamn Will Ferrell. I love you. Please don't be mad. No, so you look at SD, I think there was something like 600 people in for that. There's I think London coming up, or Liverpool or something. I think they had 500 people register for the regionals. You look at last year's numbers of 100. This is 5 times that.
For sure.
So there are definitely more and more people coming.
I think Florida's regionals as well coming up in the very near future. Like, they had to cap the numbers because people were rolling in like a day or two after, not even a day or two, it was like a couple of hours after it got announced and tickets went on sale or whatever, or registration opened. There was like 600 people in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
Like I've seen YouTubers being like, I'm gonna go, like I've signed up. If I lose first match, I'll just dip and go to Disney World. You're there anyway.
Well, I'm going to be attending the Melbourne tournament, the OCIC.
Yeah.
In February. So for me, I'll be brutally honest. Commentating and everything is my chosen path for Pokemon, and that's what I want to do and succeed well in.
Yeah.
But one thing you don't see at Pokemon tournaments is players being interviewed. I'm going down there not to play. I'm going down there to interview players. I'll be streaming it on my Twitch channel. I'll post it on YouTube and everything. But I guess like what we're doing now, going into an untapped market, you see sports stars or athletes getting interviewed post-match. Why can't VGC players? Why can't TCG players get interviewed? Yep. Why can't we have the same exposure everyone else does?
Yep. No, I totally agree. I mean, the esports industry in general is growing every single year, and I think before you know it, it will be wider known in the Pokemon community or industry where they will be getting interviewed. But you going down there and getting on board and doing it now while it's an untapped market or very slightly tapped market, it is like, yeah, it's going to pop off.
Oh yeah, 100%. So that's like, I got questioned as to, well, why are you going if you're not playing? And I'm like, well, I want to go, I want to socialize. There's a lot of people I've met in Oz VGC. There's a lot of people that turn up to my streams.
Yeah.
And I chat to them, whether it be Discord, whether it be on stream, daily, every second day or every third day when I stream, sort of thing. And we'll chat. But I've never met them. I've never put a face to the name.
Mm.
So I guess this is one way to do that.
Yeah.
As well. So it's
start meeting these people in real life and realizing just how
awesome they are.
Awesome they are, for sure. For sure. Anyways, though, we've been talking at your ears for about an hour now, if not a little bit more, which is the ideal time for a podcast. I do want to say thank you to everyone who has listened this long, and are continuously giving us the support from starting this podcast, announcing it a week ago.
Oh yeah.
And already have the people rolling in. We've got the Discord running. All these links will be in the description or the description of the YouTube channel, but also the podcast notes, the show notes. They'll all be there. We've got the Discord running. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Facebook. So it depending where you're listening or watching or wherever you tend to live in your online social life, you'll be able to find us, and we'll be raring for conversation because once this episode comes out, it'll be every 2 weeks. You'll get a new episode. If things start to pick up, I'm open to weekly. We'll see how things go.
So am I. So am I.
But I don't know, just purely the amount of things that I'm doing at the moment, it's kind of hard to do it every single week. I could do it, but I just wouldn't have a social life, and kind of need that being a 30-year-old single man.
Look, everyone knows, or I guess everyone that's frequent to streams or in Discord knows that I am a proud dad of 2, and I don't have that luxury of going out and drinking anymore. But you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Of course. You have what everyone wants. Like,
I guess, yeah.
Well, not everyone, but it's definitely the dream. Definitely the dream.
I got a fiance that broke my foot, but that's all fun and games.
Oh boy.
No, it was honestly pure accident. I fell asleep on the ground. I had my feet underneath the TV unit, and we got a sturdy TV unit, and she thought it would be funny to wake me up. And I kicked the TV cabinet and broke my foot that way. It was like the little bones in your foot, so there's not much you can do but strap it. So I did that, and I'm on my way now. But
yep.
It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt,
and then someone got hurt. Classic. Anyways, though, we are going to get the heck out of here. Thank you all so much for listening. You can follow us. Specifically, if you want to get in touch with us quickly, you can follow us on the Twitter. You can follow myself at Freakin Chocolate. You can follow Coco at Coco4dayz. That is COCOFOURDAYZ.
Just to be a little bit difficult there.
I mean, Freakin Chocolate doesn't have the E on the end because there's not enough characters allowed, so I'm rolling with that. And you can follow the podcast at Jubilife Radio. As I said, we will be back in 2 weeks' time. This will be live on YouTube. It'll be live onto YouTube as well as anywhere you can find podcasts. If you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, please leave us a rating and a review because it is all worth it and helping out with the algorithm and showing our podcast to many other people. Anyways, though, that's about it. Thanks, Coco. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for your time. It's been good. Been fantastic.
And we'll talk at you in 2 weeks' time.
Done. Peace out, everyone. Smell you later.